Hello, sir.
Hello.
Hello, Kalpaj.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Sir, I was waiting in the wrong meeting, sir.
Yeah,
This one also started a bit late.
okay, no problem.
Sir, I couldn't figure it out, sir. I tried to do something else, but I couldn't get it.
No problem. You can see the screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Wait, Nitish didn't join yet.
Hmm.
And
Neither
Tarun.
did Tarun.
You will be happy today. We are doing histograms.
Oh,
He didn't pick up my call also.
sir,
Oh,
can we use our school graph book to like do our learning room graphs, or like what note shall we use?
Hey, Kongwell, don't use 9 standard graphs. They use 8 standard graphs.
Oh, I don't have it, I think. I'll check, sir. I think I used all of them.
right. You have hard copies of the graph?
The school gave us some, sir. My last year's graph book is over.
Okay, no
So like,
problem.
shall I use this year's one, or
And graphs are graphs. All of them are same.
I have to use the sheet, no, sir? Like,
As you wish.
but like, should I buy it from the shop or something?
Do you have any spare pages?
I may, sir. I don't have from last year's, but this year's one, I don't know if I can use it.
Okay.
Hey,
Maybe then
Kongwell.
you need to buy.
Kongwell.
Yeah,
They gave us few extra graph sheets.
it's not extra
Which
sheets.
was,
That's for physics.
oh, that's for physics.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought they were extra.
Okay,
It's okay.
anyways.
We are doing so we are doing histograms anyway. So we'll do it in our class book, our school one itself, because everything is histograms, right?
They
Hmm.
won't know, sir, if we did learning or not. I'll do it in the back. I'll just do I practiced in the home.
Yeah, sure. So basically, only I think, as I understand, you will be asked to draw a histogram, right?
Sir, till now we learned only that, sir. But I don't know what we learned yet.
Okay. So let's see. So number one, histograms. So you will be seeing it like this. Draw a histogram. Have they also told you about frequency polygon?
No, sir.
So what?
Frequency polygon, no, right?
No,
No, sir. No,
no,
sir.
sir.
Right. Of following data. So there will be a box. Okay.
Just have the data question.
And then there will be partitions of that. So somewhere you will see some name 1 and some name 2. Okay. This will vary. For example, name 1 could be age and name 2 could be number of students. Name 1 can be height, name 2 can be students, like that. So these may vary. The first row will look like some A to B. So it's not minus, okay? It is A to B. And then it will look like C to D, then E to F, G to H, and I to J. Understandable?
But our teacher taught it like if A is 1 and B is 10, it will then in the next one it will be 10 to 20, and in the third one it will be 20 to 30. So it will be like A to B, B to C, C to D. Uh, did I say something wrong?
I'm saying that, of course, I cannot say all things at once, no? We have to start at some place, then during the course, we come over things. I also know that B has to be C, B has to be E. But point is, will you listen?
Yes, sir.
So let's wait for it. Don't worry. Okay. So these
Yes,
will
sir.
be basically class intervals.
Sir Nitish will join now. I just called him.
What? Why is he late?
Sir, he didn't know that it was in 5 o'clock apparently. Whenever it's five
Oh,
o'clock, everyone forgets.
fine, no problem. So these will be some other numbers. Right. Okay. So there are basic structure of the question of histogram will look like this. Names will change. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J. All of these will change, and the second row will change. So generally, what happens? There are two cases. Okay. So case is that number 1, B is equal to C, D is equal to E, F is equal to G, H is equal to I. This is first case. And case 2 is when they are not same. So B is not same as C, D is not same as E, F is not same as G, H is not same as I.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Dinesh.
I'm sorry, sir. I didn't know it was at 5 o'clock, sir.
No problem.
Yes.
Where's Tarun?
He won't come today, sir. He won't come today. He
Why?
said he went out.
Okay.
Like, he went out.
Okay. So this is how the structure of any histogram question will look like.
Yes.
Yes, sir. So
So
1 second, sir. I'll just copy it.
You don't have to copy this stuff. It's
See,
for
they
your
don't. The
understanding.
learning room people don't send the study material.
They do send. It's just that you don't check.
Yeah.
Do.
I got one essay also.
Yeah, yesterday they sent.
I don't get it. Like I don't know why they're not sending it to me.
What have you got?
I'm getting only physics and chemistry. I'm getting only chemistry study material. Nothing else I'm getting.
I'm
You're
getting
in
everything.
the batch then.
You just
So
can't
what is
simply
it mean?
blame
I'm
Lord.
supposed to.
okay, all right.
Really, I'm not getting.
So
What am I
You know,
supposed to do in this thing?
who?
What should I do in this?
Nothing does. Not even the
So
question.
do you understand what is the structure?
Yes.
Generally, it will typically look like one of these. You will be
Yes,
given
sir.
class intervals and frequencies, and you will be asked to find the histogram of it. The other way in which it will look like, it is of this form. This. So,
At the
can you
start,
tell
you have
what
to
is
draw
the
a
basic difference?
pentagon,
What
right?
is the basic difference between these two?
Sir, I have a
Sir,
small
the
doubt.
starting one is
So let's
for
say
the.
like it's varying. The class intervals B and C are not same, let's say. So will C always be bigger than B, like one number bigger than B?
Yes,
Or can it
yes.
be more? Okay,
It
only
will
one number
always
bigger.
be.
So in
Yeah,
the
it's
class
like
interval,
we
like what?
always we always go in the increasing order.
Okay, sir.
So 10, then 14, then 15, then 19, like that. That's a standard.
So the difference is for the second one, in the start there is more gap than the rest of the ones. There is like 4 number gap for the rest of the ones. So you have to draw
Yeah,
king.
yeah. So few remarks over this. The remarks are as follows. Number one, I call this A, okay, and this as B. In A, class interval is of size 10, okay, because each of the class intervals differ by a size of 10. So 10 and 20 has a gap of 10. 20 and 30 has a gap of 10. So likewise, all the 5 class intervals differ by size of 10. Understandable?
Yes, sir.
Sir, it is
Okay.
always 10.
Always 10.
There it's 10. A it's 10.
In B,
Class
class
interval
interval
size of
is of size how
4.
much? 4.
4.
So 10 and 14 has a size of 4. 15, 19, 4. 20 and 24 has size 4. Likewise, 30 and 34 also has a size of 4. Third remark is the final one, which deals with the frequencies. There need not be any pattern frequencies. Okay? There need not be any pattern. They may increase, they may decrease, they may be same, they may be different. That can happen in general. So they may increase first, then they may decrease first. It just depends upon what question you have. But in general, there need not be any pattern. However, in intervals, there will always be in the form of increasing size. I mean, increasing, what do you say, the lowest limit and the upper limit, the highest limit. They will all be nicely arranged. Okay, understandable?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Very good. So let's see how to frame the things. Here we have this one, which is the first part. So how do we make it?
So first X and Y axis.
Yeah. So thing is this, that first of all, we always draw X and Y axis. I'm using the red ink, but you are supposed to use pencil.
The
Okay.
pencil.
So don't do with the red or the
Yes.
green, anything. This is right. Then we look at uh, the number 10. So 10 is here, 20 will be somewhere here, 30
So
will
is it
be
like that?
here. What?
So shouldn't it be like a gap from first line and second line will be 10 to 20? The gap from
Yes,
second to
yeah,
third
that is
will be
only for graphs. He's drawing it like in rough.
So it's not scalable. Okay, it's just approximate.
no, sir. I'm not telling like 2 centimeter or like that, sir. Shouldn't that whole gap be 10 to 20 instead of one line being 10, one line being 20 like that?
So,
Then
which
it will
gap?
be
Okay. So see, I get your point. Thing is that the 10 no represents this gap,
oh.
this 10. It's not the vertical line. It is this 10.
So when we draw like that bar, we have to draw by from 10 and 20.
Yes. So
Okay.
Sir,
this
but like,
vertical.
doesn't that mean like if let's say 10 is 10 amounts of units from the origin, 20 means 20 amount of units from the origin, isn't it like
Of
that?
course, of course, of course. What we do is just that we mark the point. The 10 units you mark from the origin, 20 units you mark, 30 units you mark. Like that, you will get 6 marks, right?
Yes,
Yes, sir.
sir.
Yeah. We just emphasize those 6 points and denote them by this vertical dash. Okay, nothing more than that.
Yes, sir.
Then what to do? Then we see the frequencies. We see 3, 5, 4, 6, 2.
So you can do 1, 2, 3, 4,
So
5, 6.
yeah, we can do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we should, it is a good habit to write scale also. Okay. So
Yes, sir.
what we should do, the
X axis is equal
scale of x-axis
to 2
is,
centimeters is equal to 10
Sir,
because that's
should
a
the
normal
scale be
scale.
drawn outside the graph or inside the graph, sir?
Outside
so probably it should be written
on
in
top.
a space where the graph does not touch, where you have empty
Top
area.
of the green part, like the graph part.
Yes, sir.
Most likely it is top right corner. But if you don't have space, you can even write bottom right or even on the back side.
Not on the green
Yes, sir.
part.
Okay.
That's it.
So 1 centimeter is 1 unit.
So
Okay.
what, sir? 1 centimeter, 1 unit.
Sir, in our graph it is.
Is
Sir,
it 1
actually our
centimeter,
school uses
10 units? Sir?
wait 1 second. Sir, actually our school uses 2 centimeter 1 unit, sir.
No problem. It is up to the
Shouldn't be one.
convenience.
No,
See,
no, sir. Actually, I know what he's trying to tell. In like usually they use 1 millimeter box graphs, right, sir?
Yes,
But
sir.
yeah.
in our school we use 2 millimeter graphs, so we usually take it as 2 centimeter
Yeah.
because the biggest box.
Shouldn't it be
So
1
it
centimeter
depends.
equal to 10 units, sir? 10 units.
Hey, you can take it as 1 centimeter also.
You can take
Doesn't
it
matter.
like
See,
that,
doesn't
but
matter.
Half
It is
the
so big,
box.
sir.
Okay,
It'll be
let me
what?
let
It'll be
me say it in
small.
this way.
See,
Let me
1
say it in
centimeter,
this
not
way.
1 millimeter.
Don't worry.
Yes, sir.
See, say this is how your graph paper looks like. Okay, so this yellow ones is your boundaries of the bold boundaries of the graph. That's what you
yes,
see,
sir.
right? Some
Yes,
dashed
sir.
boundaries,
Yes.
some bold
Sir,
boundaries.
basically the space between the 10 and the 20 is 2 centimeter, and in between those 2 centimeters there are 10 millimeter boxes, sir.
See, he said 1 centimeter is equal to 1 unit. That means 10 centimeter the gap.
Hey, what are you speaking, da?
What are you speaking?
10
Then
is 1 unit, sir. 10 is 1 unit and 20 is 1 unit,
So
like that.
whatever scale you use, this is 1 centimeter. This is 1 centimeter.
So 1 unit is equal to 10, sir.
So 1 centimeter is equal to 10 units.
10 units. Okay. 10 units. This is what I was talking about, sir. I didn't understand.
Yeah.
Sir, but in our graph it is 2 centimeter 1 unit, sir. Like the space
Hey,
Hey,
between
you
the
can
10
take it
and
as how
20
much
is
ever you want.
1 millimeter.
It depends.
This is what.
See, Sankar, there are many types of graph papers. So the size of the bold lines on the graph papers is different. Whatever graph paper you have, you check the scale
It's 2
and
centimeters,
find
sir.
the size, whatever it is, that unit is 10. Okay,
Look at
it will
You
be
can even
it will
use
be
the
2, 3.
smaller ones.
It
this
It's
is
doesn't
not
matter.
wrong.
What
this
I
is
am
Yes, sir.
having, what I am having is 1 by 1 centimeter type of graph, where bold lines represented by yellow color has size of 1 by 1 centimeter. Okay,
this is 2
Yes, sir.
centimeter and
so for
this
Yes,
is
sir.
me,
1
That,
centimeter.
so for me, x-axis 1 centimeter represents 10 unit, and y-axis 1 centimeter represents 1 unit. So
2
this is
centimeter.
this I'm going to represent it as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I think I'll need one more. 6. Is that fine?
Yes.
yes,
Yes.
sir.
Okay, so let's. There is also one thing which I want you to know. When you decide the scale, what should be the scale of x-axis, what should be the scale of y-axis, that you decide by seeing the data. Okay, so try to make a guess that how it is going to look like, and then fit in your scale. So that will save little time. You can even draw some graph in the rough sheet. So that is helpful. Okay. So what we
Yes,
do,
sir.
we look at 10 to 20. It says that there are 3. So 10 to 20, we form a rectangle till 3 units. So this, and this. Okay. So this represents
Yes.
the first class interval that says that from 10 to 20, there are 3 units. Since the rectangle's height is 3 units, that's why it represents the given information. So 20 to 30 should be what?
5, sir.
5.
5.
Very good. So now I'm going to use a different color, but you need to see that it is actually the same color, all of them. So
It just
there's
have a
no
shade like lines.
red, green, blue, whatever. They all are same color. 20 to 30 should go till 5. Okay. What should be 30 to 40?
6.
6.
6, sir.
6.
So why are we
So
even learning histograms, sir? I thought it was easy, sir.
No problem.
But still, you have to learn it, right?
I know.
So 30 to
Who
40
told this?
is
I
6.
think it's Uncle.
What about 40 to 50?
4, sir.
Oh, very good.
So today at school, these both guys didn't come, sir. So we learned what is this? Histogram polygon.
Ah. Oh, you learned that frequency polygon.
Yeah,
I didn't
frequency
go to
polygon.
school today, sir.
Sir,
Sir,
these
even
guys
I didn't come.
to school, sir.
Even I didn't come, sir.
Huh?
Sir,
50 to
Sankar didn't
60.
come. I didn't leave. I went
I
somewhere.
mean, Konguvel went to plunge something. Yes,
Okay.
It's uneven.
So how many rectangles do you see?
5.
5.
5. Very good. So 5 because there are 5 class intervals. Which class interval has the highest height?
30 to 40.
30 to 40.
30. Which has the smallest?
So 50
50
to
to
60.
10
60.
to 20. Oh, sorry.
Hey, 50 to 60, yeah.
50 to 60. Right. Very good. So this is one case. Okay. To look at the other case, which is case B, we
We
now
can
deal
draw
with that.
patterns. Like we can draw patterns in the graph, right, sir?
What
Like in
kind
those
of-
rectangles.
Time,
In those
Yeah,
rectangles.
of course.
But
Then
you
you
should
can
not
draw
waste
this
time on it.
shaded
Not
I know,
waste
but
time on it.
if I have extra time in the exam, you know,
you won't.
Yes,
You
yes.
won't. It will never
You wish you had, you'll see.
in maths exam you never have extra time.
Okay, so let's see now. Understandable this much?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yeah?
sir.
Okay. Let's see the second case,
Second
which is
case.
this one. Okay. Now here is a different case because class intervals are very much different. Okay. So what to do in this case? See, histograms are a specialized type of graph.
Class intervals are different, but they are in a pattern, right, sir?
They are in a pattern. The difference being here 20 and 20 were same. Here 14 and 15 are not same. So basically,
Yeah, I
if
didn't
I
notice.
if I bring in the terminology, in every interval there is upper limit of an interval
Lower limit.
and there is lower limit of an interval. For example, can you tell in the first interval what is the upper limit?
So 20,
14.
14.
14.
The other one.
In the first interval, the upper limit means the upper value, the highest
Oh,
value.
first interval. I thought the
14.
first question.
Yeah,
14.
right, very good. So what about lower limit of fourth interval?
10. Oh, fourth interval. 20.
25.
20.
25. Fourth one.
Oh, fourth one. 25.
Yeah, fourth one is
Properly.
20. So,
Don't-
okay, let's be clear with this. So you know now the upper limit and lower limit.
Yes.
What we do, uh, we find we make a table. Okay, so 10 to 14, 14 to 15, sorry, 14, 15 to 19. What is the class size? Can you tell?
It's a 4.
Class size is always 4. Okay, very good.
Except the first part. But still.
Part also is 4.
So we can take one unit as 4
Hey, 1 centimeter is 4 units.
See,
sorry, 1 centimeter as 4 units. Sorry.
so between
first one is-
each class interval, now remember, listen to this carefully. Between each class interval, how much is the gap?
4
4.
centimeters.
No.
I mean 4 units.
I did not ask the size of the interval. I asked
1.
that between one. So between
Yeah.
any two successive intervals, how much is the gap? That is 1, because the first interval was 10 to 14. Second interval is 15 to 90. So this has a size of 1. This has a gap of 1. Likewise, 15 to 19 and 20 to 24
Yes,
also has a size
One.
gap of 1. So every consecutive interval has a gap of size 1. So we find that size gap and half it. Okay. Then we do something
0.5.
like this. Now you see, you find the pattern. Okay. You have to tell what am I doing.
Say what? So you said make it half, but 14 half is not 14. Okay. Okay, nothing.
Find the pattern. What am I doing?
So you are
Sir, you are
halving the
increasing 0.5 in the last interval. Sorry,
lower
the highest one, and you are
upper.
decreasing 0.5 in the lowest one.
Very good.
You're
So
decreasing.
I am increasing.
Okay, sir, so that we can like equally decrease that one from everything.
Yes. So
Make it
that
equal. The upper limit is equal.
so I am increasing the upper limit by half of every interval and decreasing the lower limit by half of every interval. Correct?
Yes, sir.
yes,
Sir.
So remark is, what is the benefit?
So we can do
Sir,
that.
so that the gap between the highest one in the first one will increase by 0.5, and the lowest one in the second one will decrease by 0.5. So
Put it in
the
So
simple
that's
difference
only
words.
same.
possible.
so the
It,
one
it
gap will
becomes,
be,
we just make it into standard format. That's it.
And
So
then
the benefit is
I don't know that word. I
that
don't know that.
upper limit becomes same as lower limit of the next interval.
We bring it back to the standard form.
Yeah, right. So if you see, then this is becoming same, right? This is becoming same. This is becoming same. This is becoming. This is becoming same. Can you see this?
Yes,
yes,
sir.
sir.
Very. So what do we? Why did we do that? We did because
So
in the
it's actually
histogram,
for
all the rectangles should be touching each other. There should be no gap. Okay. So how to plot? We make now a new table. The table in the sense that the class intervals will change. So 10 to 14, which you see here, becomes 9.5 to 14.5.
you
So
can
what should
still
be the
take it as
frequency? The
so 1
frequency
centimeter
will
is equal
be,
to 10.
5,
10
sir.
like yeah.
we'll
Five.
No,
see,
1
we'll see.
centimeter. Okay.
We'll
So
see,
the
we'll see,
difference
don't worry.
between
9.5, sir.
so the difference between the first class interval to the second class interval, it will always be 1, sir.
No, it's okay. Yeah.
No, not necessarily. In
Sir,
this
So
case,
if
it is
it is
1. In this
sir,
case,
so
it
if
is
it
1.
is
So if it is, let's say, 2, then you will plus and minus 1,
1
the half of
okay.
it.
like 8 minus 14 or something.
Okay. So whatever is the gap, if the gap is 3, then you will do the half of it, 3 by 2, that is 1.5.
1.
So you will increase the upper limit by 1.5 and decrease the lower limit by 1.5. Okay.
But
So,
it
but
should
still
always
the
be in
gap
a
is
pattern.
only 4.
That will purely same, all the class intervals between them will have same gap. So you won't have different gaps in different places. That is not.
Except the start, sir. So we can draw a kink and then we'll be there.
Yeah.
So we can
Okay,
take 1
understandable.
centimeter is equal to 9.5.
So we see. So 9.5 to 14.5 will give rise to, what is the number here? 5, right? This interval will have 8. This interval will have 12. This interval will have 9.
9,
This will have
4.
4. Okay. So now we
What
draw
actually?
our graph. Let's draw the graph.
Oh,
The graph will look like,
X and Y axis.
So you
So
can
Y
like
centimeter
take
can
a,
be 9.8, sir.
you can find a graph sheet online and just draw on it, sir.
No.
yeah, that's
Then he
also.
can't send us the maths thing, right?
We can.
Why can't
No,
you?
no problem. No problem. Well, you are smart enough to understand the things.
No, sir, it'll be
Yes.
easier for you to draw.
Shall I try that? Okay.
So
You
you
Like
can.
There's
GeoGebra.
lot of
GeoGebra.
no.
What's that?
There's graph sheets photo online. You can just
Hey,
copy paste it in
just
this and then
go
draw
graph
on it.
online.
That's what I just said, Ra.
Okay.
You don't even listen to what I say and then you're like, no, it's wrong.
Hey,
You said,
brah, I hate you.
Okay. Let's see.
What geometry dash?
oh my god, there's so many images.
Why images? You can just take it online itself, sir. What do we need images? You can view it online itself. Even if that means you can't send it to us.
Sometime online it'll ask us to log in and all that. GeoZebra, it
No, it
asked me to
won't.
log in there.
Zebra, it's GeoGebra.
The
Zebra,
problem is
okay.
scam. Yeah, first one is showing me GeoGebra only. Yes, sir, you can use GeoGebra itself, sir.
That's graphing calculator, Ra.
You can still draw lines,
Calculator.
right? 3 lines. Why is
No,
every single line?
you need like equations for the lines to be like that.
No, you can
No, it's
draw
called like a graph
freestyle.
calculator.
Yeah, you can't draw lines on it.
You can freestyle in that.
No, you can only
Okay,
like
no
I,
problem.
use a
I
pen to
asked
draw.
you
Let's-
remember I asked sir once that
Yes,
question
sir.
if you can like draw freely and he said no.
So this is X. This is Y axis. This is X
Can we
axis.
just trace it at times, sir?
No, there's so many papers online.
See, it's on online, sir. It's
We
not
could have finished drawing the graph before now. Than listening to Pongwell's idea. Am I audible?
Yeah, you are always on.
That's the problem.
Today we got our 10th ICSE certificate thing, sir. 10th ICSE board exam certificate thing.
What is that?
What?
The ICSE board exam. What?
Yes. One more year. For that, they will give certificate. No. That
The past
certificate,
tense
what
they'll
we have,
give.
no, that. You want me to show the paper?
Okay, let's see.
Got it.
So we need to have this 9.5 to 14.5.
The gap is still 4. 4. No, the gap is not 4.
Gap is 5.
The gap
Right?
is 5. The 5, sir.
Yes. So what you will do, you'll see that somewhere you have a 9.5. Okay. So the bold lines, this will be like say this is 9. Okay.
So why, sir? You can just take it 9.5.
My
sir.
God,
So
you can
it's 5 gap.
put
5
images in chat. I never knew.
there.
This is 9.5. This is 14.5. Then this is 19.5.
19.5.
The next is
Oh, and then
24.5.
24.5, and then 29 point, no, yeah, 29.5, and then
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 34.5.
34.5.
So what's the scale?
So 5, or you can take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
So in x-axis, 5 centimeter is 1 unit.
What?
Yes.
So 5 centimeters equal to 5 centimeters, sir. No,
5
so 1 centimeter
centimeter.
is equal to 9.5 units, sir. 1 centimeter is equal to 9.5 units, sir.
1 centimeter is equal to
9.5 units, sir. The gap is 1 centimeter, right, sir? 9.5 and 40.5.
okay. One centimeter
Equal to 1 unit.
9.5 units.
really.
5
9.5
units.
units.
It's 1.
Not 1, it's 9.5 units, sir. I am
So first of all, here we make a mark like this.
sir.
It represents that, or you don't mark, no problem. So the first
sir,
bold
it's
line
not-
you mark as 9.5, and the second bold line you mark as
Oh, yeah.
14.5. So what is this size?
So 5. So 1
What
centimeter
is
is
this size?
5 units.
5.
I forgot about
Everybody
5.
is 5, right?
Yes, sir.
So, but this is not 5.
Sir, so in the
9.5.
So to deal with that, what we do, we make this mark. Okay. That tells us that we have sort of shrinked the unnecessary portions. Okay. In that, we write 1 centimeter represents 5 units.
5 centimeters.
But
Right.
why can't we start the origin as 9.5, sir? Then we don't have to draw that, right?
This is exactly what it is. It's just a way of doing the things. It is exactly what you are saying, shifting the origin. That's all.
It should always start at 0 now. What do you mean 9.5 starts at 9.5?
So similarly, what about y-axis?
Y-axis
Sir,
would
so in
be
the previous graph, it was 1 centimeter is equal to 10 units, sir.
Yeah.
yes.
Okay.
So maybe 1 centimeter is equal to 2 units at y-axis.
Okay. So what
I don't
about
know
this
how
one?
many.
We have 5, 8,
Okay, 2 will
12,
fit, sir.
9, 4. So let's
2
say
will
this
fit, sir.
time we change and we do it 2 units.
Yeah. So if it's like
So what will
19 or
this be?
something,
This
2,
becomes 2. This
4,
becomes 4, 6,
8,
10,
10.
and 12. Fine. So our interval, what calculations we did? The first interval should be having a height
5.
of 5.
5.
So 5,
The middle of 4 and 5.
then it means that it should look like between 4 and 6.
Yes. Sir. Oh, 4 and 6, sorry. Not 4 and 5.
Understandable?
Yes, sir.
The second interval should have a height
8.
of 8. So 8 should go like this.
There's one
Then
thing everyone is
similarly, the third interval is like 12. So third interval, which is 19.5 to 24.5, will reach a height of 12.
Well, next one is 9, sir. 8 and
Next
9.
one is
Between 8 and
9.
10. 8 and
So
10.
9 is between 8 and 10. So like this. Everybody is okay?
Yes, sir.
Then the third one is 4, the last one is 4. So it's like this. And then if you wish, you can draw
Hello.
shade or whatever. Yeah.
Now comes the interesting part. Frequency polygon.
Sorry, sir. I got
So,
disconnected.
okay. So nothing, we just draw the rectangles for the
Okay, sir.
intervals. So since you all have not, I mean, at least Kongol and Sankalp has not gone to school, so you don't know what is frequency polygon. Let me tell you in both the cases. So what happens? Let's see in the first case. You remember this was the triangle? Yeah.
Yes.
Sir,
Sir.
what is the
And
triangle?
I mean, this is the rectangle. This is the histogram.
yes.
Yes, sir.
So what you do, you join the, you look at the highest bar of the rectangle. For
Oh, wait, you
example,
connect all of them with a line, right?
No, connect all
yeah.
the middle points of
So
them with the
midpoint. So
I know, I know.
midpoints, midpoint, midpoints, 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 and then the
point of
same
beginning.
interval is and joined by the midpoint there.
Sir, but for starting, we didn't even do.
Yeah, it's a
So
midpoint
that
of
looks
0
like a
and
We'll
0.
do
velocity
it now.
time graph, sir.
We'll do now.
It looks like
Okay.
stock count.
Looks like
Yeah.
average
Yeah, that-
graph.
Now in the
That
case
looks
of
like,
this
that actually looks like a
histogram,
velocity time
It took
graph.
that Sankalp. We don't care.
we'll do the same thing.
So is there any actual explanation for a frequency polygon? Any other complicated thing for frequency polygon? Is it this easy, sir?
I'll tell you what it is.
Is it that's
So,
it?
but how do you know
Frequency
that
polygon?
is,
Is there anything?
sir? How do you know that is the midpoint, sir? You have, is it like approximate midpoint? Or?
It's
You have a
approximate.
graph
Nothing
paper,
matters.
no? So between every bold line, there is a middle line, right?
Yes, sir.
Like this.
Yes, sir.
So you
2.5
see
centimeters.
where it is going to touch. So wherever it is going to intersect, that is your midpoint.
Yes, sir.
Okay?
So that's it. Is it more complicated? Like this is just throwing us off a little bit.
Yeah, frequency polygons, it basically is a different form of knowing what is the increment, what is the decrement sort of thing. So you
So
won't
we have
really
to
have
mark
to.
0, right? We have to mark origin, right? 0. It's
Yeah,
mandatory.
Sir, so,
of course, of
sir,
course.
so basically, frequency polygon is basically a histogram, but with no need of all the x-axis, y-axis markings, only the scale and the thing. Sir.
No.
We need
After drawing the histogram, you make these lines. That is called frequency polygon. So together with histogram, frequency polygon comes. Okay, they are no
more
separate
complicated
things.
than this, sir.
They are not
Or is it
separate things. They are one thing. Okay.
But why do you need to connect these points, sir? Like, what do they tell?
stock?
Very good question. So they tell, you see the first line in the same graph. The first line, if you see, this is more vertical than the second line. Is it or not? So this
Yes.
Yes,
portion
sir.
and this portion, right? So first line is more vertical than the second line segment. That means that although in the second interval there is an increment, but with respect to the first interval, the increment is less.
Okay.
Oh, like the rate of change.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Likewise, if you see the third line segment, the third line segment is approximately same as the second line segment.
Nearly, but
So
not exact.
thus we can say that in the third class interval, the increment is almost same as the second class interval.
But there's a difference of 0.5.
Yes.
It's like stocks on a
Now,
day
now
till
see, now see
22.
this fourth and fifth line segments. The fourth
Little
line
bit different.
segment tells that there is a decrement. Fifth line segment also tells that there is a decrement. But fifth line segment is more decrement than the fourth line segment. Is it or not?
So, yes,
Yes,
sir,
sir,
it
it
is.
is.
Sir.
The sixth line segment is also a decrement, but it is relatively less decrement than the fifth line segment. Okay, that is what the frequency for polygon tells.
Bad, but worse. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, how much?
So
So
obvious.
relatively
Sensitivity.
understandable.
So,
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Very good.
Sir, but the first one, you see the first one like from origin to 9.5,
Hmm.
it is actually 9.5 and not 5, right, sir? So all the middle point of 0 to 9.5, it will be different than 9.5 to 14.5, right? So like obviously the first one will always be
This
steeper than the
point,
second
so
one, right?
yeah, no, it's the thing is, just like the
okay, bro,
last
close.
line segment is pointed at one more interval size, the first line segment is pointed at the midpoint of one less interval size. So this middle point is basically between 4.5 to 9.5. Okay, not between 0 to 9.5, but 4.5 to 9.5.
So it's verbally 9.5, but physically 4.5.
It's very simple. What is the size here?
Physically.
The size here
Physically
is 5 units, right?
4.5.
So
Okay.
the last class interval keeps the same size for the next one, the next midpoint, and the first line in first class interval also maintains the same size, the same gap for the previous. You can call it as zeroth interval. Okay, so where you start? You start at the midpoint of zeroth interval and end at one more interval, the midpoint of the one more interval. Got it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So most likely these two categories are the major categories in the histogram. Higher classes, there will be more cases in them also. So that will be dealt accordingly as per those methods. For you, as of now, these are the only two ways. Okay.
Yes, sir. And the easiest chapter that we all can score full marks in.
That's
Yeah,
why our
certainly.
purpose, they'll ask
I'm
like 5 marks. That's it.
Yeah, they'll give us only one graph and they'll give that for 5 marks.
Or
It will
10,
be optional.
maybe.
Yeah, that will also be optional.
It's a good thing, there.
Hmm. Okay, any questions?
No, sir.
No, sir.
No, sir.
So why?
Right.
So that's it. Histogram over.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
it.
what else is that?
What
Who
else is
asked?
there?
Now
So who asked
it's
to
just
learn this,
that
sir?
you do different questions. That is very
Be
important.
harder.
Do some 3-4 questions by yourself, and then you can say that yeah, now I can handle.
Please keep this in the learning room test also, sir.
Yeah.
Surely, surely. Yeah.
And then there will be
Yes, sir.
like correction mistake, and then
Just
we'll get 0.
go.
Yes,
They
sir.
not always they make correction
So
mistakes.
you can give us a question, sir.
Histogram,
Like
what
we can
correction
draw a
mistakes
graph.
can they make? Yeah.
Even if it's wrong, they put right.
You give us a
Okay
question,
then.
sir. We'll draw a graph.
Yes,
So we
sir.
still have 6 more minutes.
You'll draw a graph and then what will you do?
I
So
Sir, we
don't
have
have a
so many questions.
mechanism. I don't have a mechanism to verify. No,
Show it.
video.
yeah.
Show on
So
camera.
I trust you that you will do correct solutions. That is there. So surely
Yes, sir.
you can take up some questions from your textbook.
Yes, sir. So many.
Okay.
You can
Okay
make
then.
Just
your
All
own
the
only
best.
looking
questions.
for such a easy.
You can make your own questions. It's the
No,
important thing.
it's like when we make our own questions, they make it easier on purpose for some reason, or
I
impossible.
know that happens every time.
Either impossible or easier.
Yes, sir.
Okay then.
Yes.
All the best.
Yes, sir. Thank you,
See you
sir. Bye.
next
Thank
week.
you, sir.
Thank you,
Bye,
sir.
sir.
Bye, sir.